Okay, welcome everyone to the Saturday night special of VERSeFest 2021. My name is Avonlea. I am the incoming festival director, formerly festival administrator of VERSeFest. Very, very thrilled to be here tonight. We have a spectacular show planned for you, and the festival so far this week has been a dream. We have another full day of events tomorrow, which I hope you'll check out. And everything that we've done so far this week is available to stream online. So please do check that out. And welcome. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. As I said, it's been a dream. VERSeFest is such a special time of year for me, especially, but for I think all of our organizers, our volunteers, our poets coming together and being able to celebrate poetry and enjoy it and just revel in it is a really beautiful opportunity, I think, for all of us. So thank you again for being here. As I mentioned, we have a phenomenal show for you tonight. We are going to kick off with our first reader, spoken word legend, Andrea Thompson. She's been publishing and performing her work for over 25 years and has come to be known as nothing short of a phenomenon in Canadian poetry. Her work has won the League of Canadian Poets Golden Beret Award, the 2021 Pavlik Poetry Prize, a nomination for the Canadian Urban Music Award, and was included in Best Canadian Poetry 2020. And in 2019, she was named Poet of Honor at the Canadian Festival of Spoken Word, which is a festival that's also very close to my heart. She currently teaches through the Centre for Addiction and Mental Health and University of Toronto's School of Continuing Studies. She is also an editor of Brick Books and artistic director of Brick's online spoken word showcase, Brickyard. We are so thrilled to welcome her to our virtual stage. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Andrea Thompson.
Thank you so much, Avonlea. And hello, everybody. I guess I was going to say hello, Ottawa, but hello, everybody, everywhere, because we can do that now. We're online. So I'm thrilled to bits to be here in this festival and be here as a part of part one of this fabulous showcase. So I'm really excited too with the timing. I just put out a new book, which is like a big deal. Here it is, fresh. It's called A Selected History of Soul Speak, and it's my first book in 20 years. So I've got poems old and new in here, and I'm going to be reading mostly from, well, really all from this book tonight and performing some poems from there. The book really deals with two different things that kind of converge, and one is the way Black history, literary history, and culture has fed into contemporary spoken word, and also about my own and just the general struggle to express myself, for us artists, writers, to express ourselves creatively, and the joy and the struggle of that journey. So jumping right in, the first poem I want to share with you tonight is, I have a lot of tribute poems in this collection, and the first poem is a tribute poem to Sonia Sanchez. And I did an essay. I went back to school as an adult and got my master's, I don't know, a while ago, 8 years ago, and did an essay. Lynn Crosby was my professor, and she suggested I do an essay on Sonia Sanchez. And I'd heard about Sanchez, didn't really know that much, dug in and was blown away. So Sanchez was this leading figure in the Black arts movement in the 60s, which is like the literary equivalent to the civil rights movement, and an activist force behind, using like vernacular and like the speech of the Black community in poetry, which was revolutionary at the time, and a big activist force in bringing the first Black studies program to an American university. So I wrote this poem as a response to an essay that chastised the American literary establishment for omitting Sanchez from key anthologies, where there were pretty much just a slew of white men, a couple of white women, and one Black woman. And these were like really big deal anthologies. One was the best of the best American poetry, and the other one was the Norton Anthology of Literature by Women. And the best of the best was edited by Harold Bloom. So this poem is called Two White Anthology Editors for Sonia Sanchez. Bloom and Norton, don't collect me no scribbling by Black women. They ain't right about nothing. Don't tell me about your crab bucket philosophy, her 40 years of sound and fury signifying can't see the forest, monkey gibberish. Blues, jazz, soul poetry grows thick and dark down here in the jungle. Bark like words you can chew through. Taste like a noose, unbound, not forgotten. Put down that axe. You ain't got no business messing with these roots and branches, with the apple of our eye. Her seeds, all our new beginning. You dig? All right, so that was the first one to white anthology editors. The next poem I'd like to do is another tribute poem, and this is a tribute poem to Gil Scott Heron, and it's called The Stream. And I was really looking at, again, like this idea of this like stream, this tributary filling into the ocean, the oceanic art of spoken word, and thinking about all these influences. So from like the Harlem Renaissance with Langston Hughes was a big influence for Gil Scott Heron, who was named the godfather of rap, even though he wasn't really into that. He called himself a bluesologist. So, you know, and the revolution will not be televised. That was Gil Scott Heron. He was really foundational, kind of on the tail end of the Black arts movement. So I saw this video by him, and it was his last recorded performance. He passed away a few years ago. He had a tumultuous life, went on a journey, came back from some addiction issues, and he recorded an album and this poem called I'm New Here. And it's gorgeous, and I recommend you check it out. It's online on YouTube, and the poem features the lines, I met a woman in a bar. I told her I was impossible to forget. She told me I had the ego the size of Texas. So this is my response to that poem. It's called The Stream. This is not a poem about Gil Scott Heron. It is not a riff on the death of the American dream. It does not venture a guess as to whether or not the revolution will be aired on television. It is not a poem about hip hop or the starring cast of rap's Black ancestral past. Although this poem will briefly rehash how the lyrical evolution of Grandmaster Flash went supernova in the 70s, ignited by a spark from the combustible verse of Gil Scott. This poem will not focus on how, as time passed, Mr. Heron was reluctantly dubbed the godfather of rap because Gil Scott Heron wouldn't dig that. Gil Scott Heron would want me to tell you the story of how I used him, used the badass, fat, fly, urban lure of hip hop to trick a posse of teenage boys into learning the history of Black poetry and how to dig for its roots in the southern soil of slavery. When call and response, rapid fire, verbal assaults, and hypnotic rhythms left the slave masters bewildered by the automatic, fully loaded weapons our ancestors used to fight their way to freedom and back again. At first, these boys gave me the side eye and said, yo, you be tripping. But when I dropped a fresh dose of Gil Scott Heron, they slowly started to listen. As the story unfolded of how the rebirth of Black urban spoken word was born from a bell-bottomed Afro head poetic, how Gil Scott Heron rapped the state of the streets with wild, uninhibited, rhythmic abandon, both outcast and truth teller, troubadour unchained, signifying heir to the literary throne the Black arts movement kept warm. Yeah, word. Gil Scott would want me to talk about the way the verse of Langston Hughes blazed into his ears and ignited a fire, how the embers of Black vernacular forged by the roaring passion of Harlem kept his own heart, his own wily words warm. Gil Scott would want me to relate the history of the linguistically nimble lineage of lyricists from which he was born. Gil Scott would want me to tell you the story of how he and the other far out, can you dig it, hip cat griots of his generation, those who revolutionized, regenerated, and reconstructed Black poetics, were only boats floating down the river of diasporic creative evolution, showing us how to let go to the rhythm of the current. Gil Scott would want you to know it ain't about the boat. It's all about the ocean, all about going with the flow and surrender to the moment. Gil Scott would also want me to tell you the rest of the story, how those trick teenage poets opened me up, pushed me past my practiced artist panic, taught me how to freestyle, how to rap badly and be proud, how to not be afraid to be a fool, to let down the guard of my own barricaded, polished facade as I fumbled to find rhyme in the cycle of after-school ciphers, how those kids gave me space to stumble and fall with the faith that I'd find my rhythm if I let go of my inhibitions and just refused to give in. But this poem isn't about me or even intergenerational mentorship. It's a poem about the river of history. It's a poem about the flow that feeds into this oceanic art we call spoken word. It's a poem about the current, about the past, the present, and the precedent. It's about the power of connection between those who laid the tracks and the train that blazes ahead on them. It's about having the courage it takes to dare heart-centered communication, to dare to speak up, to dare to pour out emotion, to dare to bear witness to your life, owning both your courage and the so-called failures you learn from. It's about daring to dive into the deep 7 chakra blues of the experience of being human and letting it stream through you until you are free and washed clean again. It's about climbing up to the top and diving down to the bottom. It's about letting the words comfort zone become nothing but a joke. As all your heartbreak and loss, all your wisdom and love, everything that breathes life into your body from the mystery of your soul fills up your lungs and is sent out into the world like a helium balloon suddenly let go. It's a poem about riding the rapids of dialect. It's about being up the creek of your own vulnerability, rudderless and stripped. It's a poem about being naked in a snowstorm and singing out your own name again and again and again and again. As you carve a new language from the tip of your tongue. Yeah, it's a poem about knowing you're not alone. You are not alone. Yeah, maybe, I guess this is just another poem about Gil Scott Heron. Just another poem about a riverman with an ego the size of Texas. Or so I've been told. But what do I know? I'm new here with my luggage full of bones. Show me around. Okay, so let's see where I'm at. I think I'm doing pretty good. Okay. All right. So onwards I go. I think next I'm going to do the title poem from my new book. Oh, did I show you my new book? Here's my new book. And yeah, this is from Frontenac Press. It's a part of the quartet 2021 with some amazing poets. Check it out, frontenac.com. Anyways, there's the plug. Oh yeah, right. And my snaps. Hey, thank you, Lori. My website, andreathompson.ca, if you want to check that out. So the title poem from this, again, dealing with that stream, that river, going into contemporary spoken word. It's called A Selected History of Soul Speak. Seemingly innocent spirituals, to both master and overseer, they were merely words, simple lyrics, ingenuous hallelujah ballads. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. But these words were charms, incantations chanted in secret freedom code, surreptitious melodies sung by restless slaves. Chariot became train, became a rumbling underground, echoing over plantation field of cotton, tobacco, and cane. Gospels for safety, for shouts, never mind, battle cries would leave a brother cold in a heartbeat. Mothers with babies strapped to their bent-to-near snap backs sung the unrelenting sun of the old South, and men with bodies were tarred and raw till they were little more than meat and bone recounted these so-called silly spirituals to both each other and God. God, they asked for strength. Each other, they asked for directions. Where to cross over that river and where to board that subterranean northbound train to freedom. Then came the blues, belting out anguish over injustice after emancipation failed to deliver the promised land. Instead, sending Klansmen who strung up to lifeless one brother after another, as law enforcers turned away and crosses burned till dawn. Dallas blues, Memphis blues. I ain't had nothing but bad news. Crazy blues. Unabashed, these words laid claim to the pain of generations. Love was sought, found, and gone, gone, gone. But still our history will not be undone. And so the young entered at their peril the guarded gates of academia, living the vision of Booker T. Washington, where scholarly success meant abandoning one's own language, meant adopting the mother tongue of Uncle Tom. Until a hunger for our own vernacular mingled with a passion of romanticism and a new language was born. On the page, on the stages of smoky coffee houses, deep in the heart of Harlem. In this Renaissance, we began to reclaim ourselves, began to own our newly found freedom to simply read and write out loud, to make love and meaning from our suffering, to live out loud, word by word on our own terms. Langston Hughes left a language deep as the Euphrates that flowed into the ocean of Gwendolyn Brooks, bestowing permission for preachment as Amiri Baraka and Sonia Sanchez reloaded the literary canon with unapologetic verse fueled by didacticism. And up here in the true north beyond that 49th parallel, Clifton Joseph and Lillian Allen waged a rub-a-dub revolution, and all across the country, slam and hip hop brought the acronym of rhythm and poetry back to the streets, and ghetto speak became fodder for heightened verbal artistry. These are our ancestors of verse. This is our lineage. And still unsung are so many who first spoke the words that birthed the language of soul speak. Okay, so more poem. I'm trying to figure out what's my order, how much time I have left. Onwards I go. Okay, so I think I'm going to do this one. This is like it's like a whole different ball of wax, but it has to do with grief. Really, my mom passed away when I was 6, and apparently I stopped talking altogether. So I'm clearly trying to make up for lost time as a grief response. And you know, and I think that a lot of people who come to writing really struggle to communicate, and that's why we write, because we just want to be understood and connect. So this is a poem about a strange little awkward little moment that happened that I tried to understand, and I'm not sure if I did, but I wrote a poem about it. Boy on a swing. He runs up to the swing with his sister. She gets on easily, quickly, pumps herself up to a height only achievable at 10 years old. He is 6.5, or at best a scrawny 7. He reaches his arms up and gets a hold of the ropes, but his body refuses to rise from his sad little jumps. After not very long at all, he gives up and says, "I can't do it. I'm not big enough." His sister sighs long and loud, "Just pull yourself up." He doesn't listen. Instead, hoists an unsteady knee, attempting to leverage his body into the seat. He gives it a few attempts until I can't stand it anymore. "You want some help?" I ask, and he nods. I walk over, give him a quick boost. He is triumphant, but only for a moment. Then he just dangles there, motionless. I take the hint. "You want to push?" Again, he nods. I push him. He rises, falls, rises, smiles. I walk away. Go back to the swing next to him. Suddenly he asks, "Have you ever heard of a back hug?" I say, "No, ask what it is." It's when you lie on the bed with someone and your backs are together and it's like a hug with your backs. Oh, I say, at a loss. That sounds nice. I can feel his disappointment in my response and begin to wonder about his lack of mastery at this playground staple. Wonder about his penchant for chatting with strangers. Wonder what happened after his last back hug. Wonder in silence, looking at the ground, and then wonder what a normal, well-adjusted adult would do now. And in the moments that follow, I regress, become frozen in selective mutism, revisited, become 6 years old again, all awkward and grief-ridden and isolated within myself, hungry for connection, yet engulfed with defeat at the mere thought of speaking out. Embarrassed by my own fear of rejection and desire for someone to understand me just once. And this flashback renders me ineffective as either mentor or advocate. I dangle there, suspended in the discomfort of my own ineptness. He looks down at the ground as well. Never mind, he says. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to myself. Okay. So I think 1, 2, 3. I don't know how I'm doing. Okay, so I'll do one more poem and then we'll see. I think I kind of lost track of things. 9:22. I don't know.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Am I? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I've got a 2-minute poem and a 3-minute poem. Should I select one or do them both?
I say go for both.
Go for both. Okay, well, in that case, I'm going to start over here and then end with the other one. Okay, so this is called Ode to Spoken Word, pretty self-explanatory. It talks about the hybridity in the art of spoken word. You know, it's like, is this theater? Is this stand-up comedy? Is she singing? What's happening here? Oh, you mighty art form, you cross-genre monster of literary hybridity, you enigmatic mammoth, you bombastic behemoth. Roar, you poetic centaur, roar. You guru of fusion. You drop dope patois dub in the middle of a slick hip hop remix. You wild writing werewolf. You howl truth into silence. You rhyme with the riddling wit of a sphinx. You rap with the rhythm of linguistic gymnastics. You assassin of ignorance. You catalyst of empathetic intelligence. You show us the beauty of a human being in all their glorious, brilliant imperfection. You gorgeous genre-jumping gorgon, you mystical mermaid of metaphor, you shape-shifting, spell-casting storyteller, you magical unicorn of free verse, you conjure connection beyond the fourth wall and teach us strength by being vulnerable. You transformer of language, you alchemist of vernacular cadence, you are a confluence of catharsis, a carnal carnival of goosebumps, you onomatopoeic, snap-happy, postmodern pun-dropping fountain of figurative images, you lyric-twisting troubadour, you poetically obsessed idealist. Oh, you mercurial angel, you artistic heretic, you literary misfit, you might drop right juicy images into creation, into the garden of our imaginations. You hyperbolic prophet, you poetic Pegasus, you sing it like scripture, you testify like gospel, you seduce us all with your siren song, you are the personified embodiment of raw, uninhibited inspiration. Your words declare, I am here. You slammed your own brand of performative poetics into existence, reinvented the word and invited the world to hear you preach in the holy church of verse. You saved language from servitude, from slavery, from imprisonment in the ivory tower of privileged linguistics, and emancipated all of us. You crusader of counterculture, you vehicle for versified resistance, you transmitter of the mythical, you made words dance, igniting a creative renaissance. You wise, sagacious griot, your courage, your fire, revs the engine of our human evolution. Oh, you wonderful hybrid art form. You spoke truth to power, encouraged intelligent articulation over violence, resurrected passionate expression, and made poetry fun again. Okay, so last one, and this is ending back on the journey of writing. I love that quote. A student reminded me of that this week. It's not so much that we love writing, but we love having written. So this is called Wound Turned to Light. The light of witnessing existence makes everything beautiful again, brings rebirth to those disowned parts of self, those shattered fragments the world deems unworthy. Those darkened days and tired nights of soul-deep weariness becomes refreshed through the act of simply recording what it is to be ourselves, unabashed, naked, living on this crushed ball of stardust, what it is to be us, hurtling through the universe, bouncing up against each other like ideological pinballs at a time when the polarity of the planet has sent us all off on our own diametrical trajectory away from the core, when the weight of interpersonal animosity has become crippling, when the term respectfully disagree is about to become extinct. In this moment, I bow down and thank God for bestowing us with the gift of creativity, for endowing all of us humans a life-giving method of release to the pressures of simply existing, a way to translate pain into beauty, a way to open up the valve on it all and begin to let off steam. What a gift it is to be given this moment, to be invited to express all the colors, I was just going to say thank you, VERSeFest, because it is a gift to get to do this, so thank you. All the colors of this jagged emotional palette without judgment, to simply say yes. Yes to the raw red of rage, yes to the yellow of hope, yes to the bruised hearted blues. Yes to unfathomable purple. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes and amen to it all. Okay, so that's me. I'm Andrea Thompson. This is my new book. Please check it out. There's more poems in it. And I have a website, andreathompson.ca.
Thank you so much, Andrea. Thank you. That was wonderful. One of my favorite things about spoken word in Canada is that the community is very tight-knit. The Canadian Festival of Spoken Word really brings everyone together very reliably on an annual basis. And so once you go, you kind of meet everyone. The lore is very specific. And so when I say that Andrea is a legend, I'm really not kidding. And now you guys can see why, I think. So thank you again, Andrea, so much for being here with us tonight. It's such an honor to have you.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much, Avonlea. Thank you.
Of course. Our pleasure. Our next act is one that we've been trying to make happen for about 2 years now. Knotz and Elise were originally meant to travel from their home base in Philadelphia to join us live at VERSeFest in March 2020. Unfortunately, the timing didn't exactly work out on that one. And while we regret that they can't be here with us in person, we're so thrilled that they're finally able to join us virtually tonight. MC, poet, and songwriter Knotz and classically trained harpist and vocalist Elise have combined forces to create a new album, Community, which has been described as a sonic masterpiece. Motivated to make music accessible to all and focus on community outreach in areas in which the arts are limited, they also founded Higher Grounds Music, which is a community-centered organization that uses motivational classical hip-hop to foster community growth offered in schools, after-school programs, community centers, creative spaces, treatment programs, and wellness centers. We're so thrilled to finally be able to have them join us here tonight. So please join me in welcoming Knotz and Elise.
Greetings.
Hey.
I am Knotz.
I'm Elise.
And we are thrilled, honored, like so happy to finally be able to link up with VERSeFest. Yeah, it's not in person, but it's the next best.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we're just going to jump right in. This first song is called Magic, and it's just really acknowledging that, you know, this life is full of magic. Just have to be open and willing to accept it. Magic. The pen holding slash free fight, open to my life in a spark of flame here. Listen close as we approach the new horizons and chalk it up. See experimental music before we go and won't loud. So we vibrate your soul. There's rhythm when I scroll poetical speech. That noble rap song, y'all in here like and fly high off the vibe, and still we ground. The 2-1 pound, Illinois lounge. You know the road we stroll. Soldiers we roll, and paint homes like rap on city walls. Yes, we create for a cause, and the sound that was born in our basement from scratch. Voice and sound flash splatter like paint on the canvas. Capture that action happen. Vibrant madness, heart filled with passion. This art is where the magic happens. This art is where the magic yeah, pants sagging, thinking I knew it all. Head hustle and people watch for the law. Name yelling, brother jailing, pops lit up. Heavy zoning out at night, not believing in love. I was searching for something, I didn't know what. I just knew I wasn't trying to be hometown stuff. Break out fast, only escape quick. Laced up my A6 and kept the playing with it. Feet too hard, you fell before you saw. I went with my guy, give it, follow the vision. Words over rhythm, keep it live for the listeners. Every day writing to my pen with papers. Had to hustle hard, taking many jobs. No one down, no room to find. Go around, come along. Had to hustle hard, taking many jobs. No one down, no room to find. Go around. This art is where the magic happens. This art is where the magic happens. Alone in the zone, create these songs. Magic. So this next song is our love song, dedicated to all the lovers out there, which should be everyone, because we all got love in our hearts. Love's beautiful. You're in tune and I'm in tune. Together we shine bright like the moon. I see you beaming from across the room. Makes my heart go boom, 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 boom. You're in tune and I'm in tune. Together we shine bright like the moon. I see you beaming from across the room. Makes my heart go boom, 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 boom. Look at you, so beautiful. Make me wanna write a tune for you. All natural, I see your light shine. In your eyes, it's the right time. Yeah, thank God for the blessing. You're a breath of fresh and so gentle. And the womb was felt through the mental. Though the physical is so intense. Yeah, I love both two sides of the fence. The spiritual or best connect. Yeah, because that's where our hearts live. Our experience quite positive. That's where our hearts live. You're You're in tune and I'm in tune. Together we shine bright like the moon. I see you beaming from across the room. It's my heart up, boom, 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 boom. You're in tune and I'm in tune. Together we shine bright like the moon. I see you beaming from across the room. It's my heart up, boom, 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 boom. You're in tune.
Together we shine bright
Like the moon. If you're in tune.
Together we shine bright
Like the moon. You're in tune and I'm in tune. Together we shine bright like the moon. I see you beaming from across the room. Makes my heart go boom, 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 boom. You're in tune and I'm in tune. Together we shine bright like the moon. I see you beaming from across the room. Makes my heart go boom, 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 boom. All right, cool. So yeah, we recently put out a new album called Community that we're super proud of and happy that it's out into the universe, and we could spread some good vibes out there. This next song is off of that, and it's called Cycles. And really, you know, cycles are things that are set in motion and continue moving forward in a certain way. We believe it's very important to break cycles because when you once you break a cycle, it allows growth. Cycles. It's been a long road, a lot of obstacles, but I found myself in the midst of it all, a little light show. So I took that in and let it guide me through life with that abstract thoughts captured. Now my mind's at work, not even realizing what this art is worth. Till I struck truth and then it all got clear. My past, my present, true life lessons, family loss, friends and women, off the wonder, the reason for this division. Then I realized we got different visions, so my stroll became one with those like mine, those that inspire, push me high. Yeah, those that inspire, push me high.
Under you, right.
Gotta break the cycle.
Gotta smell the dry. Under you,
How will things ever change if we remain the same?
Under you, right.
We gotta break the cycle.
Until the dry. Under you,
How will things ever change if we remain the same? Break the cycle. This is vital. Growth and change is all across the Bible. Break the cycle. This is vital. Growth and change is all across the Bible. Break the cycle. This is vital. Growth and change is all across the Bible. Break the cycle. This is vital. Growth and change is all across the Bible. Cycles. Okay. Go right in. So this song is Spirit Walk. It's dedicated to all the souls that have transitioned to the other side. They may be resting in power. Yeah, I'm in the present, but listening to the elders and the spirits that already passed. Some can't relate, but others might laugh. Not knowing that they travel and review with time. See, energy is infinite, and so we move way beyond those imaginary lines. I move the divine path every time. No coincidence, the blessing on my mind. If your soul loves the sun, rock it. If your soul loves the sun, yeah, it's a pattern I learned to know. In the realm of self-help, eagerly grown in knowledge of self became true as well. So I copy those, I practice flows, you master what you work at. I learned that. Search for the best. My purpose, I believe, is to do work and rap, yeah. MC, peace speaking, mind free, capturing the energy that leads to here. Give thanks to the sun, spirits with you. If your soul loves the sun, if your soul loves the sun, Spirit Walk. That's a special one dedicated to the ones we've lost and turned to the essence. May they continue to watch over us. Let's do new days.
Okay.
Hope everyone's enjoying their Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for tuning in and rocking with us. New days.
I love to fly back to the old life. Someone to stop my face again. I love to fly back to the old life. Someone to stop my face again.
Yo, I'm just staring staring out the window. Days move fast, but I'm taking it in slow. You know the seas just remain calm. Surrounded these the storm, but it'll last long. I know the piercing sun will soon brighten any rain. Book a feeling it might have been. Yeah, it's all love inside of the temple. When you exit, look up, keep a positive mental. We bring thoughts and ideas so nice. United, not divided, so we both job tight. Yeah, I reminisce on the beauty I've known. As a young and mama showed me different ways to go. In my life, yeah, been right out the other. But some years later, I rediscovered, uncovered those verses, gentle. Thank you, Mom. You knew it's thinking. It just took some time. And now we move steady with this heart of gold. And I'm paying what I need so the youth can grow. Spirit sleep, say la vie. Through these sounds and words, we found a realm of peace. Firmly planted, outstanding. Joy to say the least. Now the comets land. Illuminating spaceship and rays of light. We travel so far with the pure divine. It comes unscheduled, but always on time. And that's rare.
I look to the new day.
Hello.
Back to the old life. Someone just said, see I look to the new day. Back to the old life. Someone just said, see
New days. So I think we have time for one or two more.
Two more, please.
Two more. Okay, cool. Do you want to do welcome?
Yeah. Philadelphia.
Oh yeah. Billy and Giffrey. Okay, cool. So this song is dedicated to the wonderful, beautiful city of Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. It's the birthplace of independence. Welcome to the 215, the land of crazy skaters, rap writers and spliffs, small streets, big trees, starving artists, the place where we be spreading words to the youth, the land of Jazzy Jeff and the Roots, the Liberty Bell, City Hall and Love Hall, South Street in the summer, some parade moments, West Philly rosters, South Philly hustles, North Philly road spots, anything under the sun you want, they got, believe you got, it's the place of the underdog, slide below, remember old sheets out the J on she really had to know who out of his own, Northern Liberty, that house on the Hampstead, Tennessee, White Collar, Old City, Hot Dollars, yeah, it's good, yeah. These for the people that keep our city live. H is for the hustle. The city's do or die. I is for ill and explain as well. Yeah, ill is in. It ain't hard to tell. L is for the love that the city projects. The other L for the love we hold for music. Y is for the youth for the future's stars. The city breeds stars. We nice with ours. Wisdom Street. Philly. Cool. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you for tuning in. We have one more. Yeah, if you're enjoying what you hear, please do check us out online. You can go to our website, Knotz.com, KUFKNOTZ.com, and that's pretty much a hub of where everything is at. So you can get to our Facebook, Instagram, and our Spotify. You can also visit our store. We have our new album in there.
We got vinyl.
Yes.
Yeah, tea.
And cassettes, old school cassettes. So yeah, we'll jump into this last song. This song is called Get Free, and it's really just an invitation to free yourself, free your mind, free yourself, and enjoy the moments, enjoy life. Be free. Free. Speaking freedom, releasing those lockstells. Some choose to breathe and exhale when all else fails. I'm seeking peace through this journey of change. Experiencing crisis shows us new things. Once so needed, we humble believe. This searching and reading, I'm absorbing it. Teaching, growing every day and passing through for free. Get it, living off it. The blessing is so real. Trapped between these thoughts, running laps on hope's clear. Knowing that tomorrow, home schools, don't thrills. Pushing here to broken, low valleys and big field. No matter what you did, your dreams are big deal. Free, free. Yeah, waking up early, fresh breeze in the woods, with glares out the window from the rains, and it's so sick. The moment to be grateful for the fruits of this plant. Every day is another blessing, a lesson to cherish. Be at ease, it's peace, how the clouds be spinning. Rotation is the model. Take a minute to listen. Every circle mission, another cycle complete. The cycle they breed knowledge and you travel and see. Absorbing wisdom, teach the children, respect the women. They hold the womb that carries life. Divine, so healing, defining our purpose, breaking free, no ceiling. Open atmosphere and a basic feel.
There's a girl with my friends that drop on my radar. There's a girl with my friends that drop on my radar.
Some wrote they called truths well. The best love we found was love for self. If y'all feeling good, rocking with us. When I say spell, you say love. Sell, 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 sell. Get free.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm Knotz.
I'm Christina Elise.
Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to VERSeFest for having us. We enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for being here. As a reminder, please check out the website. Get that vinyl, get those cassettes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. They're also on Spotify, so like check it out, put it on repeat. Thank you both so much for being here tonight. And thank you, Andrea, for being here tonight. It's been such a blissful pleasure, honestly. And I'm so glad that we could all be here online together. As a reminder, we have a ton of events happening tomorrow, starting at 1 o'clock online, and I think finishing at 7 o'clock with an in-person event at Knotz. So we hope that you tune in or join us if you're in Ottawa. I also want to note that even though we're online for the majority of the festival, VERSeFest does take place in Ottawa. We are staunchly based on unceded, unsurrendered territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation. I think it's really important to acknowledge that. And I also want to draw attention to everything that's happening in British Columbia right now. If you've been tuning into the news, I think there are a lot of really important conversations going on there. So please pay attention to that and participate or donate in any way that you can. I also want to thank our sponsors, the City of Ottawa, Ontario Arts Council, and Canada Council for the Arts. VERSeFest is largely possible because of their support, among many other funders. So thank you so much. And thank you to all of you for coming out and sharing the space with us. It's been seriously a joy to have you all here. It's been a joy to have Andrea and Poof and Christine. And I hope that we will see you all back here again tomorrow. Thanks again for tuning in and hope to see you soon.
Thanks, Heavenly. See you, everybody.
Peace.